Hey everyone, welcome to the number two Septic podcast. Today I have the pleasure of having Jason Lambert on of Saint Amant Septic Tank Service. Jason, did I say that correctly? Did I say it like a
It was
local Louisianan?
it was very close. It's
Okay,
very close. Saint Amant.
there we go. You say it with this certain sound that I don't think I can replicate.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, I
You're
like it
not a
though.
local.
I
Yeah,
like
it's
it.
good.
Well, thanks for being on. Why don't you just start by telling us about your business, where you're located, what kind of services you do?
Yeah, so Saint Amant Septic. We're located in Saint Amant, Louisiana. We service the Ascension Parish area and surrounding parishes local to us. We're a full service sewer company. We do pump outs, installs, maintenance, service, whatever the need is with the sewer company. We do a lot of drainage work. We do
Hmm.
driveways, house pads, trailer pads, a lot of underground utilities. We do a lot. Our bread and butter, as they say, is our septic tanks. We do a lot of installs. That's what I started on, doing
Mm-hmm.
installs, and then I just kept growing and growing into doing other things.
People just kept asking you if can you do this? Can you do that? You just kept saying
Right.
yes.
So a lot of your customers would rather deal with one person as to hiring three or four different companies to do something on one lot. So
Hmm.
try to venture out and do those other services for those customers.
And how did you get started with septic? I know you said you started with the installs, but what led you to that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say back in 2004 area, I got hired on with a septic company, and just so happens working there for a few years, the guy wanted to sell his residential part of the company. So he set me up to purchase the residential part and end up holding it and giving it to another family member. But I was already licensed and had a bunch of the clientele from him. So I started my own thing, but I was all pro wastewater at the time. That was right before the recession of 2008, 2009. We had a bad
Hmm.
recession, and
Yep.
that's kind of where I lost that. Uh, so I went and got me a job in the plants for a little short term, and around COVID, I started my business back.
Okay. You
Yeah.
figured everyone's kind of at home and the world's going crazy. It's a good time to start a business.
Right, right. I mean, a lot of people did start businesses around
Yeah.
that time, I believe, because so much time at home. So yeah, I started as Dig It Services,
Mm.
and I was just installing septic tanks and doing a lot of drainage work in the area. And a guy that I used to pump out the septic tanks, he asked me if I wanted to purchase this company. So, and that was Santa Mall Septic. It was just a pump truck company. That's all it was. So I merged my business together with the Santa Mall Septic pump truck company
Okay.
and made it a full service.
You've done a good bit of buying and selling. Well, maybe not selling, but buying businesses, merging businesses. Sounds like you did that twice.
Correct.
So, any advice on that process? Because I know it can be messy, but it also can be great.
Yeah, so I would advise, any business you get into should be looked at as a tree. We're at the trunk starting our business and we're going up, climbing the tree. And almost everything you do has different avenues or branches, right? So we should be able to grow one idea into many different ideas. So that was my vision with the septic company. I didn't want to just install and you get into doing the septic tanks and you start learning other things that you can do with the company, which led to pump outs, maintenance, any kind of plumbing if you want to go as far as plumbing, drainage work. So that's kind of how it fell out. And buying the other companies is, I would recommend don't pass it up too many times. So yeah, I've been offered to purchase another septic company, and I didn't do it at the time because in my mind and brain, I was like, all right, that may be too much for me, too much
Hmm.
work. But when it came around the second time, a different company, I went ahead and purchased it because I was like, I'm not going to let it pass me up twice. And once I purchased this one, it was no different at all than what I'm already doing. So if anything, it brought me more calls and more work, and that's where we want to be anyway.
Yeah. So when you purchased the company and you merged two of them, did you just pick one name and kind of do everything under that name, or how did you take sort of the name and the recognition?
Right. So Sandomal Septic been around a lot longer than what I created Dig It Services. So when I bought Sandomal Septic, I bought the company's phone number also. And that number been around for 30 years. So the name and the phone number been around a lot longer than what I had created Dig It Services. So I merged everything to Sandomal Septic and kept my number as well, but Sandomal Septic number comes through a lot more often than Dig It Services.
And that's a important point as well because I've had clients before that have purchased businesses and they didn't get all of the they didn't get proper access to the website, they didn't get the phone number, they didn't get any of the Google business profile or anything. So I think it's just an
Right,
important note that if you're purchasing a company, you have to purchase everything and make sure you have
right,
access
right,
to
right,
everything.
right. That's another thing that I did as well. Sandomal Septic wasn't real. They didn't have a Google page or anything, and I'm always thinking of advertisement. I'm always thinking of what's the next big thing I can do that nobody else is doing.
Mhm.
So I really got into the AI um advertisement like 3 or 4 years ago to it was before it was a really big thing to everybody before everybody had it at the access in their hand and their phones, right? So
Yeah.
I already had the character. I did that I think 4 years ago. So I got a lot of hits on that, a lot of feedback because I had the character thing. I put it's on billboards in my area all around Santa Monica. So that gave me a lot of eyes and attention.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking for the next big thing of what's the next big advertisement. I got a few ideas.
Yeah. I bet you do. Well, you sound like one of those visionary entrepreneurs who's quick to take on something new, quick to learn something new. There's some people
Oh
who
yeah,
they'll wait
absolutely.
till everybody else and they'll be the last on the train. But I think there's a lot to be said for being the first, even if you don't know what you're doing, just
Oh yeah,
jumping in there and learning it.
yeah. You got to jump off the porch. You won't know if your parachute's gonna open if you don't.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's served you well, that sort of just, jump first, ask questions later mentality.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's good. So, what kind of life or work experience did you have? I know you said you were hired on as at a septic company originally. That's kind of what got you started in septic. But
Yeah, right.
even before that, what kind of life experience or job experience did you have that you think, because not everyone that works for a septic company is ready to make the jump to be a business owner, or they don't even do it. So,
Right.
what was unique about you that made you think, "Hey, I can do this"?
I worked for a family member at a very early age of 14 and learned how to operate equipment. So summer
Mhm.
times, holidays, I was always out there sun up to sundown just operating this big excavator. That was really cool at that age, right? So yeah, so I just learned how to operate and that's what I did and got out of high school. That's what I did. I operated and pretty much worked for my cousin. He's got leads trucking and land service in the area. So we did a lot of house pads. That's where I learned how to do all those things.
Mhm.
It's through him and with him. He trained me pretty well. I didn't know the business aspect of it. So I eventually went and got me a job working in the plants under fire water. So I got that experience as well.
Mm.
And those guys, working with those guys, I kind of taught myself and learned how they was running their business, and that's what I brought back with me. I worked for them for 10 years.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
really
so
amazing.
yeah, I mean, I did fail. I must say the first time around, right before, whenever the recession hit, I wasn't doing all that good. It was a trial and error run, and
Yeah.
the recession just helped me finish failing. And that's why I went working the plants and learned another trade of the fire water and learned the business aspect because I paid attention on that job of how they price things and how they ran things and how they treated us, as the guys that's working. and building that company, right? So I took a lot of those things with me here when I started this company this go round for after the recession, after when during the pandemic.
So if
So
you hadn't failed, you probably wouldn't have paid attention. And then you probably wouldn't have
right,
been as successful as you are now.
correct. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, failure can be it's a tough teacher, but it's one of the best. And sometimes there's just no way to learn. Someone can tell you something, but you just don't know
Uh,
until you fall and hands-on learning.
we have to fail. We have to fail, and we have to learn from it. Most
Yeah.
importantly,
Yeah. And be willing to get back up again, which you did. You were
yes,
willing
yes,
to do what you needed to do and get back up again and try again.
that's right. That's right.
So, what kind of habits or systems have you put in place as a business owner that allow you to focus on your business and growing the business rather than just actually doing the work?
It's the hiring. It's just the putting good people, the right people in the right places. I was fortunate to have a son that followed my footsteps. He was out there working the summers and operating, learn how to operate and doing stuff. So he's only 20 now, but he's pretty much running the show by himself, if you will. I mean, he's meeting with customers, he's setting up the jobs, he's installing the jobs. So I got a young buck, my son, installing, and I have another young guy. He drives the pump truck. He does really well with that. He does good with pricing. And my son's fiance is our secretary, and she's a very good secretary. I've been trying to find somebody to replace her because she does have a vision of her own, and she wants to follow those dreams. So, and I've been unsuccessful to find somebody as good as her.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, yeah. I guess.
So, what is it like working with your son? I actually have another client who's they're in precast, but they have a son who's 20 and has his own installing business. So that's been just fun to see their dynamic. But any advice?
Yeah, it's has its pros and cons, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I love the idea that I get to, spend this time with him, work with him, and train him, and I tell all my guys I want to train young professionals. That's my goal.
Mhm.
I know whenever I had jobs through the way, some of your bosses don't want to teach you everything they know. They don't want you to
Right.
know everything, right? But I want to train my guys everything I know. In my mind, that's less I got to do if they know everything to do. So I do have a competitor though that I trained him everything and he went out and started his own business. Right. So that could be
Yeah.
the downfalls of it. So now he's my competitor.
Yeah. Definitely.
But working with my son is great, and we have some disagreements. And I always tell him at work we're not father and son, we're coworkers.
Hmm. Does he call you dad at work or does he call you Jason?
Doesn't call me anything.
Okay.
It's hey,
Hey.
hey, what about this? Or hey, what about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. So, as far as hiring, do you have any tips on hiring? Because I know it's always a struggle point to, finding good people.
I struggle with that also. Hiring's no good. We go through a lot of people. A lot of people just don't want to work these days, especially this is manual labor work. So
Yeah.
it's hard to find somebody that really wants to work. And I've been fortunate. I had a guy that stayed with me for several years, and our crew's not big. We're looking at 5, 6 people for the small business we have. But um, I do find my son finds them. He's got friends that they workers. They like to work. So he's been my recruiter and finding people that want to work.
And you like hiring the young guys who have a lot of energy and they're driven
Yes.
and they're not set in their
Right.
ways.
Correct. 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 The young crowd is the best crowd. And I've used the Spanish crowd too, and they're amazing. They'll do anything, whatever you want them to do.
Hmm.
But I never had one that was willing to stay with me, especially with what was going on with the ICE thing. So that's what I lost a couple of my guys because of that. They
Wow.
they ran. from the situation. So
Yeah.
I'm here with the young guys, but they do me well. I really don't have to do too much physical labor. Every now and then we get on a job, they don't know what to do, so I go out there and put the expertise on it, and we keep on moving forward.
Mhm. And I think that's really good for anyone that's young listening. I have a couple sons who they're 22 to 18. There's three of them, and one of them was saying yesterday, I don't think that, so and so is not going to take me seriously because I'm only 20. And I was like, look, business owners love the 20-year-olds. Like, you
Oh
don't even
yes,
know because they're so technologically savvy. They grew
yeah,
up with technology, so they're not afraid
yeah,
of it, and they've got a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy. So,
yeah.
just reiterating it for anyone who's young who thinks, no one's going to take me seriously if
Oh
I'm in
no,
this business.
yeah. No, definitely. The younger generation, the ones that are willing to work for sure, are very highly praised. My guys get tipped a lot from, because we work for a older crowd.
Mhm.
So the I would say, as I was saying, the older crowd is always giving my guys tips because they're in their 20s and they're out here working, they hustling and they sweating and they, carrying a job and holding a job down. And the older
Mhm.
crowd loves to see that, and they're giving them tips and whatnot. So I definitely encourage the younger crowd to get out there and try anything. Find something that you like to do,
Yeah.
because you don't want to wake up every morning and not look forward to going to work. Uh, we all got to work, so everybody's got to do something. So find something you like to do and get into it. But as a boss, I like the younger crowd because, like you said, they're not stuck in their ways. They're not older. They're not. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. You're not gonna tell
Mhm.
me what to do. But the younger crowd, they just gonna do it, and they're gonna learn how to do it because they kind of want to do something.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's a lot of guys who they don't want to sit behind a desk. That's,
Right.
they didn't love school. They just, they want to be moving, they want to be doing things with
Yeah.
their
Want to be
hands.
outside. Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's me. I don't want to be in the office either.
Yeah, it's a great career for someone who doesn't want to be in an office, definitely.
Yeah.
So, what's the most effective way you found to build relationships with your staff? I know you've got your son there, so obviously
Yeah.
that's the relationship, but what about the other guys? What do you do to kind of help everyone work together as a team?
That's just it. It's just team. We all watching each other's back. We carrying each other. Um, I do a lot of team building things. We won't work one day. We'll go do some golfing or we'll go do some bowling. Take them out to eat. Um, I'm constantly, as whenever I was getting paid by the hour, anything my boss did for me, it can be as little as give me an ink pen. Hey man, here's a gift or a flashlight. That went a long ways with me.
Hmm.
So I try to do the most I could for my guys as far as, you know, uh, buying them lunch during a work day or taking them out on the weekend to do something or pay them on a Friday and take them bowling or, anything.
Yeah, I bet they love that.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're getting paid, having fun.
Hmm.
Oh man, that goes a long
It
way.
does. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's important to remember, I mean, for you, you worked for other guys. So you remember what it was like to be the employee. And I think that's a strength
Right.
when you can see things from your employee's perspective rather than
Yes.
just the owner all the time.
Right. 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 That's what.
Yeah. Well, what's the number one way that you like to track things? I know a lot of business owners like to track things. Maybe it's just the bottom line that you're tracking. Maybe it's how many jobs you do in a day or the average price per job. Do you have any specific metric that you like to track that helps you just measure how we doing? How's the business going? How are the guys doing?
Yeah. We do a lot of different things actually, because I'm always thinking of all those numbers. So QuickBooks is number one. We dabbling, if you will, into an app called House Call Pro. So we trying that out, and we have our own spreadsheets because I just make everything in my head. So I try to put it on paper, and then my secretary, she kind of puts it into secretary form for her to understand. So we have a bunch of spreadsheets that, like I said, I create, and we do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of QuickBooks, and we try and House Call Pro out. So,
So, what do you think is the number one most important thing that you measure?
hmm, I don't have one particular thing. It's everything's important to me,
Yeah.
all the numbers as far as payroll goes, the income on the job. I'm always doing everything in my head on the job. I'm looking at the job, what I'm gonna spend, how much it's gonna cost me for the labor, the equipment, what I'm gonna make on profit. And I got a certain number that I try to reach on every job. So I don't have a one thing. I can't even answer that.
That's okay.
So I try to keep up with all of it.
Yeah.
I got a spreadsheet for my profit. I got a spreadsheet for the payroll and the taxes, and I just keep up with everything. It's
Yeah.
all important.
You talked about job pricing and one of your guys who's really good about pricing. So, do you have any insights about how do you determine what your prices are? Do you look at what your competitors are doing, or you just kind of put blinders on and do your own thing? How do you determine how to do kind of job costing for people?
Yeah, I mean, you got a feel for what the average cost is according to all the other companies. So there is an average out there. So I'm just an average guy. I don't try to be expensive. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be the lowest guy, but you got to know your worth at the same time. So I just tell I'm honesty is the best policy with everything.
Yeah.
And I'm always honest with my customers. Look, if you really want to do your homework, you'll find cheaper than me. But what's is cheaper better?
Mm-hmm.
And they got guys that's more expensive than me. But look, I've been doing this for 20 something years. I got all the kinks worked out. I don't use none of the cheap material. So as far as the pricing goes, I just teach my guys, the average price of everything. And fortunately, they all have really good memories, probably better than myself.
That's great.
Um, so they remember, and then we have a little spreadsheet that stays in all the trucks with the pricing. So it's kind of like an average thing. And the majority of the time, if they had a question or a doubt, they would reach me by phone because I always tell them, communication's the best. So stay communicate, call me any question. And so for the most part, they'll call me, look, this is the price I have. This is the situation. How do you feel about this price? Most of the time I agree with them. That's a
Mm-hmm.
good price. You did a good job on that. So
That's great. Yeah, that's a real way to make sure that you're duplicating yourself and that you're not having to be the go-to guy, but just sort of the fallback if they have questions.
yeah. A lot of things too I would add is I don't change my price. Once we give a customer a price and it's just a quote, logically you could change the price, but most of the time we don't change our price. We get to the job, we give them a quote. We execute the job. If there's a little bit more pipe involved, or if there's an obstacle in the way, we just eat that. We make it
Mhm.
right for the customer, and that goes a long way with us as well. Because I've been told many times that's what you don't see that often no
Yeah.
more. Any little thing that happens on a job does. They want to charge more, or the
Mhm.
unforeseen is getting charged, and we don't do that. We don't price gouge, and we don't change our prices. So, most of the time, I'll just eat the little $50, $100, whatever it is.
Mhm.
I feel like it's gonna go a longer way than me charging the customer more money.
Yeah, definitely. That goes a really long way with especially when you have the older crowd and that you're servicing and those recommendations and referrals
Oh yeah,
mean a lot to them.
yes,
That goes a really long
right,
way.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So do you communicate that with the customer when you give them the quote? Do you tell them, "Hey, if there's anything little that comes up, we're just going to eat the cost. Like this is the price is the price," or is that something
yes.
more you do?
No, I do let them know. I do.
Mhm.
I do let them because you get asked sometime too. Like, is this my price or is it gonna change when it comes time
Mhm.
to pay? But I just let them know. Look, we can't really say that because we don't know what's in the dirt, when we start digging things up, but I can tell you for the most part, 90% of the time, I do not change my price.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure that goes a really long way.
Yeah. Water line in the ground, we break it, we just fix it. I mean, you're looking at 25, 50 cents for a fitting for that small pipe. I mean, we're already there working. You're paying us to be there already. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just doing the right thing. You do the right thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you do the right thing, it comes back. It comes back
That's
around.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. You got
absolutely.
to bless to be blessed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Well, I know you already talked about the failed business during the recession, so maybe that's it, but what would you say is the hardest thing you faced in business?
The public. Cut your customers. You got the customers that understand everything and willing to pay, but then you got customers that don't understand some things and they nitpick about everything. And sometimes because I'm the type, I'm just gonna make it right. I'm just gonna whatever it is, just make it right, make it go away. Let's keep moving
Mm-hmm.
to the next job. So sometimes you got customers that, man, they nitpick about every little thing, and I'll just keep going back to make it right, just to make it go away, make it right, make it go away, and move on. So I'll say that that's the most difficult thing we deal with. Sometimes it's just the
Mm-hmm.
customers, the public. You just got those customers every now and then, but you gotta
Mm-hmm.
fight through it, push through it, just do the right thing, make it go away. Because you can make it real nasty if you disagree with them
Right,
and want to fight for your side, or you can say, you know what, it's just a little bit of labor. Okay, it's
right.
just a little bit of labor. I'm gonna pay a little bit of labor, and I'm gonna move on and go to my next job.
Mm-hmm. So even when you know you're in the right and the customer's in the wrong, you're still making it right by the customer.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave a good taste in their mouth.
Mm.
Look, I know I did this. This is what they would say is, I know I kind of went over on this man, but he made it right for me, and maybe they'll refer me to somebody else too.
Yeah. And do those customers tend to leave Google reviews or anything like that for you?
No, we have to ask most of the time for a
Mhm.
review. We never. I don't know why people just don't go to reviews, because I'm a top contributor on Google reviews.
Yeah,
I think I'm level 8 right now. That's pretty high up, considering, but not a lot of people give reviews. We have to ask, and I do have a little QR code. Sometime I pass along. Can you go leave me a review?
nice.
But even the bad reviews, I got one 3-star review. The guy said, seems like a all right fella, and he gave me a 3-star. And that's kind of what knocks me down from being a 5-star review, is that one 3-star review, because the dude thought I
Oh,
was an all right guy.
yeah. And they just don't understand
No,
what that
no,
does to your
right,
ratings.
right.
Yeah,
So
that's funny.
even though I've read something, because I read a lot for Google, they say you almost want a bad review, so you can
Mm,
respond to the bad review. As just I told you earlier, is I make things right for my customers,
yeah,
even if they're in the wrong and I'm in the right. I'm just gonna make it right for them.
yeah,
Customers want to see that too. What
they
happens
do.
when something bad happens?
Mm.
So
Yeah, that's a really great point because a lot of times people, if they're searching for something on Google, they're going to read the bad reviews. They want to know
right,
what went wrong. And
what
so,
happens? Yeah,
yeah,
what did you do to make it right for this person?
yeah.
So I wouldn't mind if I hope I don't get no bad review, but if I do, I'm gonna respond to it accordingly, of
Mhm.
just doing the right thing and making it right for them.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really great, and I hope everyone listening takes that to heart because that's not what happens all the time.
No,
So yeah, I really admire you doing things that way, and then also I know that it impacts business positively when you do
yeah,
the right thing by somebody, even when, maybe it's not fair, but that's just
right,
what you're willing to do as a business owner. I think
correct.
it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the biggest risk you feel like you've ever taken in your career with owning septic businesses?
Trying to grow in the commercial world, commercial sewer is very different. It's a lot more to it,
Mm.
and I've been taking on those risks uh, of trying to grow and trying to learn. Because, like we talked about at the beginning of this, you got to jump off the porch.
Yeah.
You really don't learn unless you just dive face first into it. So that's kind of where we at now. We're still dabbling into the commercial world, and it's definitely a risk because I mean, sewer's a big thing. You're into DEQs and
Mm.
a lot of stuff like that, especially with the commercial side of it. So
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of regulatory stuff you have to deal with there.
yeah, yeah.
Does Louisiana have any kind of maintenance contract that's required by aerobic system owners?
There was maintenance, a 2-year maintenance contract that was put into place whenever you did a new install. But to my knowledge, they've taken that away from
Mm.
us. I don't have to turn that paperwork in any longer. So I think the whole contract is not needed any longer for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. It's different in every state, and even some states, it's different in each county.
Yeah, well, that's how it is here. It's our license. I always say that to people that our license is a state license, but every parish, we have parishes here other than counties.
Mm.
So every parish is different. So it's hard to keep up with every parish. So we get violations in some of the parishes, and it's just strictly because every parish is different, but we're working for the state, and they can't even answer that. The people that are the inspectors for that parish, like why you didn't do this. Well, we have a whole folder um, of different parishes and what they require from us, and they expect from us, but it's just hard to keep up. Every year
Hmm.
something's changing, and it's hard to
Yeah.
keep up.
Yeah.
So
And every inspector is different too.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. So whatever it is, just like everything else, we're gonna make it right.
Yeah. Yep. That's good. Because they, at the end of the day, those inspectors get to decide whether or not it's pass or
That's right.
fail. So, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Where do you see the septic industry? I know you've been in it for a long time. You've probably seen some changes happen, but where do you
Yeah.
see the septic industry going the next 5 years, maybe 10 years? Any big changes or technology? I know you said you had some things kind of on your radar of new things, if you care to share any of those.
Oh no, no, I never share my ideas. I don't even tell my guys sometimes because they're young and they like to talk, and I've learned in my older age to saying less is best.
Yep,
Because anybody hear your idea, they like, oh, I might try that myself.
I
And
respect
then,
that.
yeah, I do have some ideas, big ideas in the works, but I think it goes with population, and population is growing so fast. So I see the septic world doubling in the next 5 years, but I see the companies doubling too. And in my area, there's always somebody new getting into it. I get calls, I ain't gonna say a lot, but a call every 2 weeks. Somebody's calling me, hey, you think I can make some money if I buy a pump truck? You think I can make some money if I start installing
Wow.
septic tanks? So I get calls, often with that, and nothing's easy, you know.
No, it's
May
not.
if I'm making it look easy, I'm just lucky, maybe,
Yeah.
'cause that's not easy. Um, it's like everything else. I mean, we have breakdowns. I try to keep new trucks, fairly new equipment, but everything requires maintenance. You
Hmm.
got hiring. You're not doing it by yourself. It's a lot to do by yourself. But yeah, I think we will get more competition, but I think the work's gonna double too. So it's just gonna work out.
Yeah, there's room for everybody.
I would have never thought. I don't think anybody thinks that you're gonna install a septic tank every day. Like there's that many septic tanks needed. I mean, people are really doing that much. but I'm not the only one in the area, and a lot of the bigger companies are installing septic tanks every single day. The goal is to install 2 a day. We do that sometime, but not every day because we got a lot of service calls, and
Hmm.
I'm staying kind of small as to just hiring a bunch of people and having that workload. So
Yeah, sometimes more money, more problems, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you have what you need to support your family, to, support your goals and your people
Yeah,
have what they need, and sometimes
that's
that's
good
that's
enough.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Well, if you could give one piece of advice, call it your $1 million advice to yourself when you were first starting out, what would you go back and tell yourself?
Hmm, that's a good one. I don't know. I would say don't give up, but I didn't give up.
No.
I did go into the plants and work because of the recession, but I would say no. I do have something. I would say commit and marry into what you're doing. So whenever I first started, I wasn't fully committed to it. I was
Hmm.
doing it. I fell into it of doing the sewer, and I didn't commit to it. So I was chasing a lot of other things that I didn't have to chase or probably shouldn't have chased.
Hmm.
And you chase your job, chase your dreams. Don't chase the other things. Once you start making a little money, you want to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Um, don't enjoy life too soon. Chase your dream, build your empire, and then enjoy life.
Yeah. That's good. Well, Jason, thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing your wisdom with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.